allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You might say this is a joint meeting.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Kind of a unique situation where we have the opportunity to come together as a tax commission as well as the tourism advisory committee. So thanks to everyone who can make it, who has made it tonight, and we appreciate you coming out. So, do we want to just run down through?
We need to do roll call.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the, yeah.
We have to do it so we can say that there's not.
Right.
We'll have Megan do it. Do everything she has to do first.
Sarah Menard.
There.
Dina Kreitler, Jan Bronze, Donna Rosh, Kelly Follert. Here. Candy Sue Mahurin. Laura Oliver. Here. Jet Ketting. Susan Johnson. So the TAC does not have a quorum.
Well, we'll stick around because we'll just give advice if that's what you need. Tourism advisory, yeah. We'll just stick around anyway.
That's right, there you go.
Okay, for TTC, Jack Ketting, Mike Follert,
Here.
Lawrence Myers,
Here.
Nicole French,
Here.
Dee Patel, here, and Susan Johnson. So with the TTC, we do have a quorum.
Okay. And we have the agenda for this evening. Everybody should have a copy of that.
Don't make that move on the TAC.
Have a motion to approve? Or the
TAC is, I mean, we can't do anything, so we can just put it away. Okay, so yeah, TTC.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Thanks. And we have last month's meeting minutes there. Give you all to review those if you haven't already. Take a motion if you're ready. Anyone?
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
I'm sorry. On that one, approval for that, I don't think so.
For what?
Yes.
Yeah, but we're good. No vote. No. Sorry.
Okay. Financial report in front of you there.
It's in your pack, whatever I give you.
We have this last month. Down a little bit, imagine that. Quiet bunch tonight. Any questions on the financials? No? Have a motion on those would be great.
Almost. Nicole, I did the last one, you do this one.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial report.
Thank you.
Just as a matter of order, I don't think you need a motion to approve financials.
You don't.
Because you can't alter them.
I'm like, I don't know what we're
I don't think.
motioning to approve.
The
I was
report,
wondering.
is, I mean, I think that was part of Roberts, the report's the report. Now, it may be different by statute, I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm
But you don't-
just reading, Sarah.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you, just follow along,
But
yeah.
I know what you're saying. That's a great point. Okay. Takes us to old business. Don't know. You all didn't have the minutes from, yeah, so when's the last time you all met?
We met in May.
In May?
Yeah, the advisory council met in May.
Was that the virtual meeting?
Yes.
It was, okay, okay. Old business, anything on there to discuss? Well, takes us to new business then.
Yeah, TAC. Yeah, TAC had a different agenda, a little bit more things to cover than the TTC. And I kind of wanted to bring everybody together because as you can see from the length of the director's report, there's a lot of ground that I was thinking we would want to cover as a group and kind of do it all in one shot rather than having 2 meetings and try to cover a lot of ground.
Yeah, that's good.
2
We
groups.
appreciate that.
So, trying to think if there's anything in there that there's some information that are relevant for the TTC that will come up later on with regard to the CTM rack card program. There's some pricing information in regard to renewals for that. There's also some notes in here regarding signage for the area of Progress Parkway, Highway 32. There's been some mention that people would want to talk about possible sign placements out there for people coming out of the water park and giving them some information about downtown St. Genevieve as an option as they're getting ready to leave the water park. I talked with Brad Arnold and met out there with him on the campus to look at some options. On campus, didn't look like there was very many good ones. I know there's been talk about possibly looking at some signage at the end of Progress Parkway at Highway 32. And we both seem to agree that that's probably something we'd have to consider more than anything on the community center property. First thing I have on new business here is branding, and that's kind of just to give you guys something to think about, maybe for the future, not tonight particularly, but with regard to social media, kind of what we want to do on social media. There are some other communities, Farmington, I was made aware of, that post a lot of random things about St. Genevieve wineries and the trolleys and things like that, that maybe we're not doing. And I don't know if we want to do more things with our businesses. I know some of the restaurants post their daily specials, if we want to go to that extent of posting that much information on our own social media. We have brochures, and as one of the options for TAC to discuss going forward in terms of what they want to do with our brochures, and that includes some options with regard to maps and with photography. And might be another thing we want to consider is, do we want to pay for and have a photo shoot done in the future to update our images, both for the brochures, for the rack cards, and some things along those lines to help update those brochures. And also, slogans. I think we have on our brochures, explore French colonial heritage. We have some signage coming into town that says this is where history and hospitality meet. We have some print brochures that call us Missouri's oldest town. I don't know if we want to continue to use those various types of formats or if we want to consolidate into one brand and use that going forward on our printed and on our billboards and digital and all those things. So those are just some things I thought we'd want to consider to have any discussion on those tonight or in the future as we prepare to do some of those updates.
As far as branding goes, I think that a consistent tagline is kind of important. I don't like that. I like all 3 of those that we're currently using.
So we don't need 3.
But I think we're better off if we just have one, If the same one appears on social media and billboards and just sort of get it stuck in somebody's head, they might.
And we're also going to have, some changes like going forward with regard to what we are marketing with the Museum Learning Center is going to add a new dimension downtown. Obviously, the water park is a different ballgame than French colonial history too. So
Changes even the demographics.
right.
Yeah.
Right. I think if I had another thought on that. I think that was it. with the, actually, I did have a further note. Now, Happy Welch, the city administrator, and I had a meeting today where we're starting to think about years in advance on things. And one thing we did talk about was a conversion study in the future and possibly an analysis of what we are doing and maybe a focus on what we should be doing for marketing. So that's kind of in our plans in the years going forward also, before we do a lot of updating and rebranding. On the highway sign, I don't know if that's something TTC wants to discuss.
Eventually, I think it would be in their ballpark. I mean, our role would be to give advice, which is, I think the sign is a good idea. Put up a sign, will you?
Which one you specifically
Talk about
doing?
out on,
Highway 32
as
and
you
Progress
exit,
Parkway.
as you exit the water park or the
Oh,
community center.
that sign, okay, we're back, okay.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, just a directional sign that says, it can say Highway 55 downtown.
Yeah, I know that that's private property right there across, directly across the highway from Progress Parkway, but that would be, probably pretty ideal. Have to get other folks involved because obviously you don't want to distract from that intersection also. There's
Right.
lots of things to take into consideration, but as far as location goes and information and, as far as a lot of people, like Toby said, coming in and out of that water park, letting them know just that it's down there would be good. So have to look at our options. Is that something that you've
We can explore further.
already
done a lot of
looked at? You
research
haven't
into.
done, yeah, with the city and take a look at that. Is Happy, how far up? That's not at city limits on the south side of the highway, but not the north side of the highway. Is that correct? Yeah.
So you have that map up there on the wall.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's, without being out there right before you get to the strip mall, what am I trying to say right there, across the street from the community center, there's a little bit of property there too.
Right.
So before they even get to the intersection, off to the right would be a really good place, probably for it too. Again, I don't know if that's private property, if that's part of cities, but part of cities, that would be
I think that'd be private.
That'd be-
The
that'd
county, the community center owns some of that up to a certain point, and I think you got HSB property.
Right.
And you've got that strip mall.
And the one, yeah, west of that. But even that would be a very good location. There's just something as there. Matter of fact, it might be better than down across the highway, because once they're at the stop sign and they're stopped, they're looking for traffic, or they hopefully should be, and not looking at a sign.
And if
So,
they've committed to go right.
right.
Or if they've
So
committed to
a
go
better
left.
place is probably up further on Progress Parkway, and you bet it could be something simple, but what's left and what's right, and historic district or something as simple as that, I think is going to get a lot of attention. A lot of people, water park's bringing a lot of people to town. I work in the city now once in a while, and I can't tell you how many people have told me that they've come down. If nothing else, just for the price. They said it's a fantastic water park, and they can't beat the price. And people from Waterloo, Illinois, and North St. Louis, and have told me that they've come down and really enjoyed the park. So we need to let them know that there's more downtown.
They had about 30,000 visitors last year in 38 days. Brad said he estimated about 75 to 80% or more out of county. So that's a lot of people coming in.
A lot of people come in town. Got to let them know what else is here. Are there, speaking of the water park, are there brochures, and is there a rack stand out there, or is there anything out is there a lobby, is there an entryway at the water park that
In the
has
notes,
something?
there is an entry alleyway. They don't currently have anything. He said next year they're looking at rack cards, and the menus will have a video component to them.
Yep.
So that you'll be able to flash different menu items.
Man, that is
and there'll be a possibility for some messaging. and
That is a gold mine for out-of-towners, folks, and we've got to capitalize on that and get what we can. Even if there's, let's just think outside the box here and say, even if there's kiosks or something like that in the parking lot, you know what I mean? Different types of interactive information boards. There could be one, there's outdoor ones as well, and there could be something outside on the sidewalk as you're walking in. So really encourage the city to work with the county on that too, and see, there's a lot of, like you just said, the majority is out of towners. We got to let them know what's in our town.
What about putting a sign where everybody's sitting and sunbathing in the water park, right out where the apartments are? There is some space there, and I think there's a restaurant coming there.
Yeah, there's, I think
Because
there's,
everybody's just sitting, so they can look at the sign.
that's a good
and
point
plan.
too, is it doesn't have to be somebody in a car, you bet. If there's,
Because
if there's a way to advertise all the
Yes.
parents that are sitting in,
Yes.
that are sitting in the shade, looking outside the fence.
Right, and it's like a
Um,
good view. I haven't been to the water park, but I can see it, like when
Yeah.
you're going down the slide and everything.
Yeah,
They can
yeah, that's a
see
great
it.
point, really good point.
And inside the community center, there are already like
Right.
video screens that are flipping ads.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. So, yeah, we just need to work with them on that.
We'll continue to explore kind of our options out
I
there.
really think that sign, though, is something we can get on sooner than later, maybe, though, because depending on how far the city property already goes down that direction, figure out some funding for that and what the message would be and get something up there. Good. What else you have?
The CTM RAC card renewal is the back page of the entire packet. Includes pricing for printing, the RAC cards, which they have our current RAC card on hand. They will do updates whenever we send them, if we send them some new information, which I think we would have to do on some of the items on that RAC card. And then they could either phase in new cards when the old cards are taken, or replace them phase them in or replace them all at once, either way. They distribute to 4 different routes. That's on the back of the sheet here. They'll take them to St. Louis area downtown hotels, I-55 hotels, and then St. Louis attractions. And they also do St. Louis businesses downtown. I don't know if there's some aspects of that program we want to possibly consider not renewing, because downtown businesses are not fully employed in terms of having everybody in the building at the moment. Some people are working from home, not going downtown. By the same token, that means fewer RAC cards have to be changed out and distributed. They said they had 3,000 cards still on stock in the warehouse currently, in addition to having the racks full. Obviously, the last printing was in August. Obviously, things slowed down, and so there was less need for printing and distribution there for a couple months.
So are we currently doing all 3 of those? Which ones are we?
I think, well, the first part here is going to be how many you want printed, which you've got your different quantities, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. And then the back side is all the distribution routes that we have. So the total price is going to be your distribution routes figure plus your printing cost.
And is that what we printed before?
I'm not sure the
No.
exact number. I have to check back on that order. I think we did 20,000.
I think 20,000.
The lowest one on there.
You don't want to print too many because
Right.
things change. It's like same with the maps.
And when were they
You know-
updated, speaking of changes?
Update, I'm not sure. Like I said, last printing was August.
I think that was,
They include information about, it does say multiple BUD, and so I guess it kind of works for the whole county. I know we're lost a couple.
Is the advisory committee looking, have you been looking at that, or do we know?
no, we really haven't really
Okay.
talked about it. No.
I think in the past, you all have gotten involved in that quite a bit, haven't you?
I think yes.
I think so.
Is that a sample of the existing?
So when's it due, Toby?
I believe it's the end of this month is the renewal. August 1st starts a new contract.
So that's not when we have to have it printed, that's just a new contract, so we probably have
We
some
have 3,000 on hand plus full racks momentarily. So
full racks and 3,000 on hand, okay. So we have some time for some changes or whatever if we.
Yeah, because it says now under consideration as a new national park.
Yeah,
I'm assuming we can change that.
yeah. Yeah.
I think it uses the same images, or a lot of the same images that are in the brochure.
All right.
And is that something you're wanting to update?
Yeah, can we change some of the photographs
We
possibly?
surely could, yes. And I can work with TAC on some thoughts and what they want to do in terms of updating the public site.
Yeah, that'd be good if you could, great, if you could get an idea for, see what kind of updates we want to put on there. Obviously, the national park's going to be huge. I wonder when we can start using,
Well, we can find out.
Find out
Yeah.
tonight.
we can start using the air.
It's all off now. I'm moving out of town soon.
Nice knowing you.
You can probably put me up to that, by the way.
Okay.
It's only $5, he's cheap.
Okay, all right, great. So some things obviously that we want to take advantage of and put on our car, new cars. Yes. Very good.
Don't know if we want to take a vote on renewing that contract.
The contract, we probably could take a vote on that, so you know that that's, what is your thoughts, Nuno?
I just have a question, because I'm new to all this. Do you have a list of
I have
all
a
the
list.
businesses and all the hotels? Okay.
I can, if you want to hold off on a vote.
So each one of these, are there other options, do we know, or is each one of these locations should have a list, right? The downtown,
There's nothing going to like the southern Illinois area?
There's not on this program at the moment. I can check with them about adding some more.
If that's an option.
Right.
That's a good
And where would
point.
you do it in Southern
That's a
Illinois
really good
hotels?
what?
I think it's highly, I mean, I know interstates is a big part of it. In Southern
Right.
Illinois, you've got
Right.
57 kind of knifing through there, but it's not an easy route from there to there.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the distribution, yeah, you can pay for the distribution as a separate contract, not having printed, as long as they have cards printed. You just pay for where you want them distributed.
Right.
And usually the distribution contracts, and you can add and subtract areas of distribution anytime that you so choose.
Okay, thank you. So when did you have that, when's the distribution contract? I know you just told us.
August 1st is the period begins. But I can talk with them about other options of routes.
And they have remaining cards in stock.
There's 3,000 cards from last spring.
So that's when it goes, okay, so our contract goes to March? Okay. That's why you have some time maybe to get back with us on that.
On
Gotcha.
card
Okay.
updates, yes.
Is that what you'd like to do? Let them look at other options?
On routes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they want a decision by August 1st, do we want to
Soon,
convene
it is
by
July.
some other method?
What, is it, do they need a decision by August 1st, or is that when it's open?
For the contract, yes, they want.
They need a decision
by the
of
end
how
this
many
month,
routes we're going to want.
No.
We're
Right,
going to commit to going against that, yes.
right.
So for that decision, do we have to print more cards?
We will eventually have more cards. The
Right.
racks are currently full.
Right.
And they have 3,000, so we probably need, that means they went through 17,000 in about 8 months, 10 months. And it was a slow time, so they probably would be looking at needing cards in the fall.
Are they designing the cart, or does someone else?
Redesign.
The
Design.
We have our own
TAC,
design.
Sandra, the TAC, designed the cards.
And there can even be.
And there was,
Did she do it herself, or did she have a graphic designer do it?
We probably designed them and gave them
yeah, and this was a specific photo shoot,
right.
That front one was.
yeah. And this is an old.
You mean they weren't
one.
just walking around town one day and somebody snapped that photo?
Well, that could happen at
That
almost
fooled
any
me.
time, but yeah.
I think we probably give them all the materials to say, make a card looks like this, update,
Right.
please make these changes.
Right.
I think they definitely need to be updated and changed, because especially if people are constantly, like, when we go on vacation, you take the same route, you know, and if you're stopping at the same welcome centers, then you see the same stuff, and if it never changes,
That's a good point.
there's not anything that's ever gonna be like, oh, this is different. If our card always looks like that,
What about adding the water park?
right,
Because that's new, like,
Yeah.
we need to add modern and old.
yes.
So
Yeah.
everybody can get interested in it. And I
Something
had a
for all
question
ages.
once. a year ago, somebody came to my place and they were mad that they had no idea there were hotels in this town. They thought there was only bed and breakfasts.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I did talk to Sandra, and she's like, it's only downtown that we advertise this. I'm like, you need to advertise hotels too, because some people can't afford the bed and breakfast.
Well, they're
So-
advertising wineries, which aren't
Yes.
downtown, so.
Exactly.
Right.
And then we need restaurants too. Just randomly we can choose from a raffle, like pick up one restaurant.
Do photos.
And give them all opportunities to be on it or something.
I also think we should, I think the community center is a draw, not just the water park.
Right.
As a conference
Yes.
center, as a meeting area, and we don't emphasize that at all.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's a golf course close.
Yeah.
That's a big deal to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, it is, because especially men who come to work in town.
Right.
And they stay here for months, they bring golf clubs.
Or the men that come because their wives want to go shopping.
Absolutely.
You could,
We have,
we just get a poster that just folds out.
yeah, we need to think something, because that doesn't do any justice to what we have in town.
Right. It should appeal to the whole family.
So which organization does that?
In the past,
I think TAC has said, yes, we like the card.
Has
We
worked.
designed it, it looks like this.
We
And
approve
then
the budget.
TTC pays for it. Fortunately. Just the way we like it.
Need to make some changes.
we vote that it's legal to spend dollars on that. Okay.
Can we get a permission to move forward so that we...
With the distribution?
Different routes,
Yes.
the updated rec card.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to get, if we don't go with these routes, how are we going to get word back and vote on that before it's due?
Can we do it via email?
Electronically?
Yeah.
Can we do it?
Want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they do have routes in Illinois, you can tell them to put those 3,000 they have there, so that you know, at least, because I do know we have so many customers who come from Illinois to
Yeah, we
shop
might,
here and. yeah.
Right. You know, like Nicole, like you said, we might want to, there might be a district downtown we don't want to do and spend
Right.
money in Southern Illinois or someplace
Right.
else instead, this round.
I mean, a factor in a lot of the things I'm looking at for ad options. So St. Louis now, you don't have cargo meetings going on.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. I think I talked to the person in CTN, they said the capacity of hotels up there was roughly about 45%, and this time of year it's usually 67%, so.
Okay.
So we'll collect that information and get that back to you.
When it comes to the redesign of the thing, is it just the TAC that has the input on what photos are used, the layout?
I think anybody's open to
Anybody's
any
open to it.
suggestions.
Typically, that's
Absolutely.
the way it's been, but if there's a working group, that's getting together as a member of the TCC, by all means, I think that they would invite and encourage you to
Oh my gosh,
participate
yes.
too. But historically, that's kind of the way it works, is they advise along with the Director of Tourism, and then we kind of say, yeah, the money is being spent properly.
Yeah. I just didn't know, like, how long has that one house been featured as
Right.
the main photo? We have a lot of other houses and a lot of other things, so,
At least 2 years.
Yeah.
okay,
Before that, it was the Old Duke House.
Okay.
So that is a different house that's being featured.
okay.
And the TAC does have a subcommittee for print, including brochure. Obviously, one does complement each other.
Sure.
So
Has the county done anything, in the past or in the future?
I don't know of. They help with economic development on it, and I think they help with some of what Sandra was doing.
relationship.
Yeah, there has been, that thing's been good, might want to open the door. Because I think Water Park, Community Center, we're looking at some, I think 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 we're looking at some good revenue for not just the city, just I mean.
Golf course one. I do have in the packet also some other advertising things to look at, nothing urgent. Backwards. One is a Group Travel Leader magazine. Currently, group travel is probably on hold. So it is included in there. They're actually trying to do some special pricing, what they're calling a rally advertising package to try to get some business generated. Might be worth looking at too in the future as things pick back up. The page before that is about the Missouri Public Education Program. It's a radio and TV program for government agencies, nonprofit groups, state associations. They do a match of 4 to 1, so you invest $5,000, $10,000. They will do, if you're doing $10,000, they'll put $40,000 of airtime. The person I talked to there recommended that you put in $5,000, and he said that could work for a radio campaign, something to consider. And then the page before that is Facebook lead generation program. That's coming from Madden Media in place of a fall-winter newspaper insert that they canceled. We committed to that as a $2,000-something advertisement, that they scrapped that program due to the situation currently, so that they're not doing a newspaper insert. What they want to do is move people over to this Facebook lead campaign, where you pick a sweepstakes prize, and they will market it for you and promote it through Facebook and gather leads for you through the entries.
And then what would you do with the leads?
We could set up more direct contacts with them. Ideally, the people are going to be interested in coming here.
Hopefully.
From talking with Madden and looking at what we have done, one thing we don't seem to have is a email campaign that some places do have.
Right.
They use either the website, and they said, well, this would be a good way to kick off something like that too.
Yeah. Discover Farmington, they have email campaigns. I get those like monthly from them, and it's just a rundown of here's everything that's going on and coming up, and
it's a newsletter essentially that comes
basically, yeah, very consolidated newsletter.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great thing for us to start implementing, especially with the bike ride tours that the national park's doing and all the different walking tours and things that are happening.
Pops up fast and
right.
So those are all programs to consider. Like I said, don't need any action on those tonight. But just
Is the Welcome Center collecting any, when people sign in, either email, is there any kind of mass email at all now?
No.
No?
There's not. We are collecting information currently for COVID contact tracing. But we tell them we're not using it for marketing purposes, but we can change that for sure.
Right. Can you just have a box that they check and
say,
say,
we're
I would
okay
like
with
to opt in for this also? And then you can use those contacts.
And something I've noticed, like other people have it on their websites. Where, if you go to visit St. Gen, we don't have that currently.
Yeah, I don't think it's very hard to install a
Set that.
pop-up where you subscribe to a newsletter.
Right.
Well, and not to clutter up the counters even more, but a lot of the local businesses, could have those cards available too right there, right? Where they could, if they wanted to, they could fill out, and then the business owners could deliver them to the Welcome Center.
Sure.
That has, you know what I'm saying? If they don't go to the Welcome Center,
Sure.
but they come into a shop.
Or if you have, do you have like a drop box or anything outside the Welcome Center?
We do not currently.
Okay.
Is that something we could put in bags? Just a little piece of paper with
But then the customer would be required to
No.
return it. Like, they'd be responsible.
email contact.
They would email their contact information in and say, put me on your,
Yeah.
Do you want them to email us?
well, that's,
I mean, it should be easy enough to just
Because I
put
don't
something on
think
our
they would.
website. If we do that, if we
want updates about things going on.
and if we have that on our website, we could just tell
Some
them
people
go and
do
sign up
want
there.
it. But last time when Sandra was there, she didn't like people to not go to the welcome center.
Yeah.
She wanted everybody to go there.
Well, and
So
that's-
some people didn't want to go all the way there.
Yeah.
So that used to be a problem.
Right.
Because they were just in town for a few hours.
Right.
And they were like, oh, we've seen this part, we want to go catch up with this and all that.
Right.
So I would give them all the information for our town with the brochures that I would give.
Right. Yeah, we used to have brochures in our store, but we haven't for years.
Anything that's,
Whatever gets them.
anything
And
that's
they have
free, anything
families.
that's free gets some word out, I mean.
Right, and their families who are in another state, so they want to bring them to town.
You
So that's-
you can set up online, like you can set up a landing page that would just be for subscribing to
Right.
information, and then you would create a QR code, and you could put that QR code on all of your new brochures. Then people scan it with their cell phone, you just open your camera app, you point it at it, it takes you straight to the link, then you can sign up for everything.
Sounds like you're volunteering for all kinds of stuff.
I'm not, I'm not.
That's the good idea. Easy.
I have some other things to email our web people about, so I will check with them
Yeah.
on setting up the newsletter
Yeah.
email.
But that'll make their lives easy.
Yep.
Just scan it and they get emails from St. Genevieve.
What else?
I think you're on to the elections. If they're looking to do
Yeah, we
those tonight.
tabled that last time. We kind of tabled it because we said we were going to wait and see until we were hoping for a full attendance. I recommend we do that again, but that's just my recommendation.
Can we do that?
Yeah, because we said we could keep them,
I don't know why we couldn't.
we could actually keep
Happy,
them.
what do you think?
Yeah, it'll stay the same until you vote.
Right.
Otherwise,
I mean,
unless
as long as
somebody's
you're all
supposed to be.
okay.
I mean, that's what I think we talked about last time. It would just stay the same until we changed it.
Is somebody's term up?
Maybe.
That may be the issue.
No? No, we're good until 2022.
Heck,
Let it ride.
let it ride. Do we need a motion for that or not? I don't think we do for, okay.
But they do need a representative to TAC second.
Yes, we need someone on the TTC who is willing to also be on the TAC. We need 2 representatives. Jack takes care of one. The TAC only meets quarterly, and it's usually for 30 minutes? It's not very long.
It's never a very long meeting, yeah.
So if there's somebody who would be interested,
What day of the week is your meeting on?
Same.
It's before this one usually.
Oh, 5?
No,
No,
5:30.
5:30.
I usually do this one at like 5:45. We
Yeah.
push it back.
Oh.
But if we're only doing TTC, then I push it up to 5:30.
Oh, okay. I was like, I can't do anything before 5:30. That's impossible. I don't care. I'll volunteer for
That'd be
that.
good.
Okay.
We will welcome you.
Just wait.
Fair warning.
I see an election in your future.
We do have any other business, and I asked Chris Collins for National Park Service to come tonight because the TAC agenda usually includes update from National Park Service.
That'd be wonderful.
So, Chris, if you want to give us an update?
Oh, great. Sure. It sounds like you met in May, and did you have an update at that time about what was going on, or was there anyone to give an update?
I don't know that there was in May. That was a virtual meeting. I don't remember there being one. Do you remember, Kelly? From the parks?
Okay. Well, Chris Collins, it's nice to meet some of you that I haven't met before. I'm new superintendent at the National Park. I started in the position in January, and I was stationed at the Arch for a while, getting to know my counterparts and my support folks up there. In February, when we closed on the Jean-Baptiste Valley House, I moved my offices down to St. Genevieve, and I spent several months just setting up offices, getting internet, phones, all those wonderful things you need to be able to operate. And if you've noticed this summer, we have some staff. We have 3 interpretive park rangers and 1 maintenance worker. all headquartered in the Jean-Baptiste Ballet House. In fact, I think it was last week, my boss from the Arch came down. He hadn't been here since February, and we were discussing how we're going to reach establishment. And he looked around and said, you're acting like a fully established park, so I really don't know what the problem is. But we have a few things to clarify before we can move forward and request from the secretary that we would be established. We're currently working on 2 agreements. If we can hammer those out, we think we can present those to our regional director. He'll then draft a memo to the Secretary of the Interior requesting that the park be established. And we are hoping that that will happen sometime in October, and we would be official at that point. So
what comes with that?
Well, a bigger budget for me.
Yeah.
So I can hire, some full-time staff next year. It's a significant increase in budget. I'm hoping to hire a chief of interpretation, chief of maintenance, maybe a shared chief of maintenance with another park that's nearby, more seasonal staff.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the process of trying to figure out what the Park Service needs to do and how it fits in at St. Genevieve. Unfortunately, this year's been such a strange year.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to see that, but I'm kind of getting a feel from the other organizations what they really need from us. I see the Park Service as a support system. The park really does belong to everyone. It belongs to the community. It belongs to the country. So I'm trying to be a good steward and see what we can do to uplift the town and bring more attention to the community. And I think establishment will definitely take us a long way to getting there. The things that have kind of been on hold because we haven't been established, the stamp, everybody wants that stamp. We have a lot of people that come through now who say, can I get the passport stamp? And unfortunately, I don't have it. It hasn't been created yet, and it won't be until we're established. And we've kind of been curbed a little bit on providing some social media and a greater website presence. Although we gained some traction this week, my seasonal interpreters have media backgrounds and they did the training, and so we're starting, as of today we are developing the skeleton website that we have had, and it's I think it's going to be much more robust by the end of the summer. So
Is that stamp, is that whatever they come up with, is that part of the Arrowhead?
No, it's usually unique for a park, and for this one it'll probably have some kind of fleur-de-lis.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how that would maybe a fleur-de-lis with an arrowhead in the middle of the fleur-de-lis. In fact, this afternoon before I came over here, I thought about icons, like what can we do, what's our iconography, what makes us stand out and unique in the service, and that's probably where we will go with it. Although I think I would be interested in having discussions with others in the town to see what they would like to see in that stamp, since it will be unique to the Park Service here in the community.
And then what about the signs and arrowheads?
That all comes with establishment.
That all comes with establishment.
We can't wait to slap an arrowhead up on. You've probably seen the arrowhead flag. That's kind of my first foray into throwing the arrowhead around and not getting into too much trouble. Although when my boss came down, he goes, boy, our public affairs person would have a fit if she saw that on the building. I'm like, she's not here. Oh, well. Slap my wrist. I don't know better. So, yeah.
Okay.
And highway signage.
Yeah.
That's something that I really look forward to. If we can get established, and hopefully we'll work with the highway department to put some signage out on 55. That would be huge.
Yeah.
61 would be great.
And you're saying it's maybe as early as October? Is that what you said?
That's what we're hoping. We would love to be established before November, before the election and potentially any change that could take place in January.
Good.
We have support by Senator Blunt's office right now, and he's been pushing this. And I think, with his administration in charge, it's time to pull the trigger on it if we can. So that's the plan.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
So once you get that stamp finished,
Mm-hmm.
are we, as I know when we get a shop downtown,
Mm-hmm.
are we allowed to use that on merchandise, or how does that work?
You'd have to direct folks to the park because we will have the stamp. We're happy if they stamp it on anything they want to put it on. If you've seen our passport book, that's usually what we have. Collectors that go around to every national park, and we have the passport book. And
That's the stamp for the passport book.
So that's not like the logo, that's not the national
But the
park,
official
like
park logo.
it will be our park logo. It won't be the national park logo
I see.
on the stamp. I'm hoping to incorporate the Arrowhead, our logo, into that somehow, but it varies park to park.
Yeah.
Like I said, that'll be a discussion that I would love to have with folks in the community. What would they like that stamp to look like? Because folks will probably just stamp it on anything.
What will be the official park name?
Oh, boy. Toby? I saw an article from the Herald from 2018 where there was an alderman resolution to support Saint spelled out fully versus STE, which is the first time I've seen reference to that. I knew nothing about what happened before I got here, and I've just kind of been going with what the town has called it, and it's always abbreviated STE. And so that's what we've been using, and hopefully I don't ruffle any feathers, but I actually prefer using STE because the park only exists because of the city, the town, and so I think the affiliation, the association with the town is the best name for the park. I don't know. Again, something I'm more than happy to have discussions about, but to me it just makes sense.
Well, but what'll be the full name then, the establishment name?
So it's St. Genevieve National Historical Park.
Historical.
Yep, we're NHP Historical. Everybody always says historic because we're historic sites, but historical parks.
Okay.
And we are a historical park.
Very good. Thanks.
Thank you.
If anybody else has
Yeah, anybody else have anything for the group? No? Kelly, what was that, did you bring that book?
Yeah, but I don't know, since we're not officially here, if
Oh, that's right,
I
yeah.
can bring it up. Or
Bring it up next to you,
since we're not,
TA,
yeah.
Tourism Committee.
Or we
Okay.
can,
You can bring up anything
yeah,
you think about.
yeah, after we close the meeting, you're welcome
Yeah.
to bring it up.
Just an idea. Okay.
So I know I gave you a big packet of information, so you should read it because it's all good stuff. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me anytime, phone, email, in the Welcome Center.
Very good. Thank you, Toby. Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
Do you,
Nope.
Toby, do you want to set up a meeting with somebody on the print committee from the TAC? You know?
Probably set the next TAC meeting too.
Oh, okay.
I know Jan was a big part of the print committee. And
Yeah.
Oh, I got it, so I Print is Jan, Kelly, and Sarah.
Anybody else want to be on that print committee? Anybody from the TTC want to add some input?
Sure she does. That's why she's, that's why you're the liaison, right?
Okay, all right. But the next TAC meeting is not until,
You met in May.
Probably November, I would say. You could do October if you wanted to. It's either gonna be October or October.
I was thinking more like August.
I meet quarterly, so it's up to you guys. I mean, if you want to meet more.
I don't think we need to meet more, but I think the print committee can meet with Toby.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's
And with nothing else, give, yeah.
But you didn't have an official TAC meeting today, so should they try to schedule something before October?
That's up to you guys. I don't know. I think that
You're in charge.
we may need to look at numbers.
Well, then why don't we schedule a meeting for September then, an official meeting?
You want to do September?
For September and see what we
Agreed.
can do.
Let's do
then.
September 15th.
Is that all right with everybody currently on the
Crazy
TAC?
day. You're the 15th.
And they'll try to get together with the print committee in August sometime.
Right. Or even if we don't get together, if anybody has any ideas, you can just email
So then are
them
we having another TTC
and
meeting
tell them to Toby.
on that same
Not necessarily.
night?
We kind of decide TC by month. It's kind of up to Toby what he wants to bring out. If we have anything, a lot of times when we approve expenditures, it'll be for like 2 or 3 months, so we don't have to necessarily meet.
Okay.
I will get the rec committee, rec card information out and take a look at things after that.
Okay.
All right. Laura, what do you think? Good?
I think we're good.
With that, I'll have a motion. Any motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. You don't need one.
Then we're adjourned.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's something else you don't need to.
That's something else. People say,
This one
okay.
I taught me.
But no,